1993 was a year of challenges as we added new exhibits and programs. Captain Moses flew thousands of museum visitors on a deep space adventure aboard Journey to Jupiter. Scores of trainees took to the air in Level 2, Parent-Child, and Aviation Challenge programs. Meanwhile, a dormitory training center took shape at Aviation Challenge, and ground was broken for Space Camp Canada near Montreal. Our corporate partners once again assisted with projects, programs, and challenges. The partners in our Future program received continued support in 1993, reaching a $5.9 million total. IBM donated more than $60,000 in computers and software. And TRW contributed $20,000 to Space Camp programs. 26 teachers attended the Space Academy for Educators, thanks to a $35,000 gift from Rockwell International.
Well, if there are any teachers who think this is just another camp, let me make it very clear that it is indeed pleasurable, but it is almost like taking a college course.
152 trainees from across the nation also experienced Space Camp, thanks to corporate scholarships. And once again, companies sponsored special weeks throughout the summer. 24,421 trainees reached for the stars in 1993, pushing the total number of graduates to more than 170,000.
When I came to Space Camp the first time, I wanted to be a soccer player, a postman, or an astronaut. I couldn't decide between the three, and after I came to Space Camp, I knew I definitely wanted to work for NASA because it was so exciting here.
And space was important, and that's kind of where I come from. In terms of taking math and science courses, Space Camp really taught you that that's what's important in order to make things happen and get rockets up.
I came in 87, and that was my sophomore year in high school. And I think that my experience here really came at a time for me when I was trying to sort out what I really wanted to do. And I think that it kind of guided me along the path of, looking at science.
Payloads were assembled in the new satellite clean rooms in Huntsville and Florida. And trainees at both sites balanced on the zero-G wall. McDonnell Douglas helped to add a space habitat laboratory to the Atlantis simulator. And a $1.4 million dormitory and training center took shape at Aviation Challenge. The high-performance jet pilot program also added a Russian MiG-17 fighter, an American T-38 jet, and a Navy Sea Sprite helicopter to its collection of aviation hardware. U.S. Marine pilots from North Carolina flew their Harrier jets to Huntsville to honor the first Trey Wilburn Scholar, Jared Ogle. Wilburn was a Marine pilot from Huntsville who was killed during Operation Desert Storm. Aviation Challenge programs soared to new heights as adult trainees flew with the Sky Warriors, performing laser tag dogfights over Atlanta.
Woo! There it is, baby! Got him. There you go, do it again.
Meanwhile, Level 2 Space Academy trainees took to the air over North Alabama with instructors from the University of North Dakota in the You Can Fly program.
We got to take off, we got to fly while we were up there, and they showed us some maneuvers and how to do stuff, and then we got to land. So got to do a lot of stuff, got mostly everything.
And that's kind of what I enjoy the most, is working with the young people who have never flown before, and they're a little bit anxious at first, but when they get up in the airplane and they're flying around and they look and see that I'm holding my hands in my lap and they're doing all the flying, it's pretty exciting.
24 of the 1,700 parent-child trainees also got a taste of the wild blue yonder. Space Camp challenged groups of all kinds in 1993. The Paraquad Group of St. Louis sent the nation's first integrated group of physically challenged children to Space Camp. Professionals from across the country trained in the first visually impaired adult camp, sponsored by the West Virginia School for the Blind.
This is a wonderful experience. If you ever get the chance, don't pass it by, because not very many people get this experience, and it's a wonderful experience.
After participating in the corporate camp program, TVA began sending nuclear operators to Space Camp as a team-building exercise. 859 students participated in 4-H mini-camps. Students and adults also visited from places such as Cabot, Arkansas, and the San Juan Unified School. And Boy Scout Day generated 2,400 visitors. At the 4th International Space Camp, students and teachers from 23 nations, including 45 American Teachers of the Year, discussed global cooperation and the environment. Arriving in Atlanta, they visited the World of Coke, the Carter Presidential Center, and the Tennessee Aquarium in Chattanooga before heading to Huntsville.
G'day. That's Australian for good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and students from all over the world. My name is Emma Kate, and I represent Australia at this International Space Camp. Programs like this International Space Camp are an encouragement for young people to become involved in space developments. We are very grateful for the opportunity to attend this International Space Camp and would like to thank those who have made it possible. It is our pleasure to greet you all in the name of Australia. Thank you.
Special guests included America's first woman in space, Sally Ride, Russian cosmonaut Oleg Atkov, Vice presidential contender Al Gore Jr. made a campaign stop at the Space Center in the fall, first daughter Chelsea Clinton, and Apollo astronaut Jim Lovell sent 3 grandchildren to Space Academy to experience the challenges of space exploration. More than 427,000 people visited the Space Center in 1993, keeping it Alabama's top tourist destination. Locally, the Space Center made an overall economic impact of $105 million while performing in a competitive market and slower economy. Special events helped to keep the Space Center #1. After more than a year of preparations, the $1.5 million Journey to Jupiter exhibit made its maiden voyage. 2-time shuttle astronaut Bob Springer explained how space exploration has evolved from fiction to fact in Q-Line videos, while 4-time shuttle veteran Jim Buckley helped with the unveiling on opening day.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Journey to Jupiter is ready for boarding.
The action-packed simulator features an electric motion system, the first of its kind in the nation, and is receiving media attention from coast to coast. An improved shuttle liner reopened as the Shuttle to Tomorrow. And the U.S. Army Missile Command at Raytheon donated a Patriot missile launcher.
34 years ago,
America's first astronaut, Alan Shepard, unveiled the U.S. Postal Service's Space Fantasy stamp during first-day issue ceremonies at the U.S. Space and Rocket Center. A 3-day 4th of July celebration featured the Academy Award nominee film Fires of Kuwait and entertained more than 7,300 visitors. The first annual Easter egg hunt drew about 4,000 visitors to the Space Center. Media coverage captured the attention of millions of viewers, listeners, and readers nationwide and around the globe in 1993. Dozens of TV and radio appearances were made across the country. Alan Shepard and fellow moonwalker Charlie Duke, along with Bob Springer and Mike Mullane, promoted Space Camp during the Big City Blitz campaign. A major media campaign drew more than 10,000 residents from 6 regional cities during the City Salute Weeks.
Let me run down some
Television appearances included NBC's Today Show.
Oh, you have to head for Space Camp in Huntsville, Alabama. And this is a great experience for families because this year, for the first time, you can go through it with your kids.
So all kinds of programs.
The Tom Snyder Show.
Young teenagers build your own rockets, become members of a space shuttle simulation. older teenagers that learn to fly airplanes. They've got the F-16 simulators down there.
Anyway, we'll get you the toll-free number for Space Camp if you want the catalog and information. There's no obligation, doesn't cost you a penny.
News today.
The Nashville Network's Crook and Chase.
Well, that's absolutely true. What we call Journey to Jupiter comes as close to getting in a space shuttle and leaving this planet as you can do without actually doing it firsthand. And it's something new at the Space and Rocket Center.
1-800-63-SPACE. I guess people can call that number for more information.
That's right. To find out anything about both the Journey to Jupiter as well as what else is going on at the Space and Rocket Center.
And Globo TV.
Okay, it's enough. Oh, God. Okay.
Newspaper coverage included articles in the Washington Post, the Detroit News, the Salt Lake City Tribune, the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, the Montreal Gazette, and the Christchurch Star in New Zealand. Features on the Space Center, Space Camp, Journey to Jupiter, and International Space Camp were carried by the Knight Ridder, Scripps Howard, Gannett, and the Associated Press News Services. Space Camp appeared in such magazines as Weekly Reader, Family Fun, Child, Disney Adventures, Sport Aviation for Kids, Endless Vacation, Science and Teacher, Trailblazer, Delta Digest. Publisher Scott Forsman featured Space Camp in a 5th grade science book. The Space Camp Foundation made headlines again by breaking ground for Space Camp Canada. The $30 million Space Camp and Cosmodrome Space Science Center are scheduled to open in the Montreal suburb of Laval in 1994. Space Camp Italy is looking at Naples as a possible site, and funding is being sought from the Italian government to help develop an adjoining science city. A Space Camp Italy employee observed and trained for 30 days in U.S. Space Camp facilities. Existing campuses were active in 1993, with Japan graduating 14,000 trainees and Belgium hosting 4,000 trainees. The U.S. Astronaut Hall of Fame in Florida installed 13 Gemini astronauts.
I don't know that I can tell any tales, because all the stuff I know would make the right stuff look like a Sunday school picnic. But I will say this, nobody, and there are a lot of people out there that worked on this program, nobody's going to be able to top the Gemini program.
The installation required a $329,000 expansion to the Hall of Fame. Brevard County contributed to the project, as well as Coca-Cola, bringing the firm's total gifts to U.S. Space Camp to more than $1 million and keeping them our top supporter. A number of improvements are slated for the Huntsville operation in 1994. Aviation Challenge will offer flying programs to high school students and adults. An interactive space station exhibit will be started in 1994. And the Space Center will produce several events and exhibits to mark the 25th anniversary of man's first step on the moon.
We, the employees of the U.S. Space and Rocket Center, would like to extend our sincere thanks for your generous support. As a team, we are committed and ready to make 1994 our best year ever. In conclusion, as we say every year, the best is yet to